If you're planning a Disney cruise, whether it's your first cruise or you've cruised many times before, this is the video for you. I'm going to walk you through step by step everything you need to do and plan before you cruise to make sure you are super organized and ready to maximize the magic. In order to do this, I'm going to guide you through my magical cruise planner. You do not absolutely have to have a copy of my magical cruise planner in order to do this. You can just grab a pen, a piece of paper, and write down everything I'm saying, or you can purchase an instant printable download or have your very own book copy delivered to your door. I'll leave all the details below. On the first page, I'm going to clarify this because sometimes people get a bit confused. All you need to put here is the family name, how many nights you're sailing, on board which ship, and which date. On the next page, we have a countdown to your magical cruise, which you can colour in as soon as it gets to that magical 100 days to go countdown. But then our first planning item comes on this page where we just have a tick list of all the things we need to do. So these are the things we're going to be going through in this video. Let's get started. So here we have important cruise dates that you need to be aware of. All of this is dependent upon your Castaway Club status. The Castaway Club is Disney Cruise Line's reward scheme. And as soon as you step off your first Disney cruise, you are in the Castaway Club. Once you have completed 1 to 4 sailings, you are a Silver Castaway Club member. 5 to 9 sailings gets you into gold. 10 to 24 sailings gets you into platinum. And if you complete a magical 25 plus sailings, you are a Pearl Castaway Club member. It's a goal I'm hoping to achieve, but we are a little way off yet. So first time cruisers, obviously you get to book cruises from release day, whereas Castaway Club members get to book 1 day before the general public for silver, 2 days for gold, 3 days for platinum, and 4 days before they go public for Pearl members. So if you are thinking about booking a Disney cruise, check the Disney Cruise Line website and see if new itineraries are due to be released. Note this date down in your diary so that you can check the prices. I have found that even on the day of the release, throughout the day, the stateroom availability diminishes and sometimes the prices go up. So it's always beneficial to get in there as soon as you can. Your deposit is always due for your cruise, either at the time of booking or you can have that 72-hour window. That's 3 days after you've reserved your cruise.
3 days. Got that? 3 days.
That's the same regardless of your Castaway Club status. You'll have access to planning online activities 75 days before sailing for first-time cruisers, 90 days for silver, 105 days before you sail for gold, 120 days for platinum, and 123 days before sailing for Pearl. On the day that your bookable activities window opens, make sure you log in as early as possible. Bear in mind, Disney Cruise Line goes by Florida time, which works out if you're here in the UK as 5 a.m. I've got lots of vlogs where myself and my son, also known as Wikipedia, get up at 5 a.m. and take you through the entire bookable activities process, showing you exactly what that looks like, because until your bookable activity window opens, you are not going to be able to see the options available. I will link a playlist below of videos that you can watch all about bookable activities, including options you might want to consider so you've got some sort of idea which strategy you're going to go with and which sorts of things you're going to book when your bookable activity window opens. And then your online check-in can be done 30 days before sailing for first-time cruisers, 33 days before sailing for silver, 35 for gold, 38 for platinum, and 40 days before sailing for Pearl. If you've got a copy of my magical cruise planner, make sure you write down the dates of your specific sailing as soon as you've booked it, so you do not miss when you've got to pay the balance for your cruise, when you can book your onboard activities, and do that all-important online check-in. Again, online check-in will open from 5 a.m. here in the UK or midnight Florida time on your online check-in day, and the earlier you check in, the earlier port arrival time you will get and the earlier you'll be able to get on that ship. If you are planning your own Disney cruise, make sure you grab my free Disney cruise planning resources that I will send straight to your inbox. Head to mummyof4.com/plan cruise to grab yours now. On the next page, we have some emergency contact details. These are just really sensible to keep on you whenever you travel. So if you're bringing your magical cruise planner with you, you've got them all where you need them. Then there's a page for some YouTube channels to follow and some Instagram accounts to follow. Obviously, I would recommend watching this channel. I have so many videos here that will help you plan your cruise. By the way, how rude of me. I did not introduce myself. If you're new around here, hi. My name's Rhiannon Morgan. Everyone calls me Rhi. Welcome to my Magical Adventures channel. I've got lots of Disney Cruise Line vlog series, plus helpful videos here. They're full of magic, plus all of the tips to maximize your cruise, with bonus tips if, like me, you have children with autism. Next page, we have got our cruise budget, which is something we need to consider. Here you can log the cost of your cruise, transportation, parking, and all the other bits that you're going to need to pay for, both the estimated and the actual costs. So if you want to look back on how much your cruise actually cost you, you can, but no judgment if you want to skip that page. We've got some pages to record our cruise savings. Every time we put money aside to go towards our cruise, we can record it here because remember, what gets measured gets done. And do we want to save that money to get on the Mickey ship? Yes, we do. Next, we've got some spaces to record some cruise quotes. Now you can book directly through Disney Cruise Line, or you can go through a third-party travel agent, and it's worth looking at prices on both, especially since independent travel agents may be able to give you little incentives such as onboard spending. Even if you're booking just through Disney Cruise Line, there may be several different price options to consider. Maybe you're considering different ships, different itineraries, different lengths of cruise, different types of stateroom, which we'll go into in a second, or even the same stateroom type on different decks may be a different price. Record all of your quotes here before you make your choice. Then when you have got your cruise booked, we need to record which ship you've chosen to go on. In fact, if you are sailing on a Disney cruise, let me know which ship you are sailing on and how many nights you will be sailing down in the comments. I love hearing all about your magical cruise adventures. You can pop down your booking reference, travel provider details if you're not going direct through Disney, embarkation date, debarkation date, the embarkation port, your destinations, the price, any discount you've managed to get, the balance left to pay after your deposit and when that balance is due, your stateroom number and whether you've gone for an inside, an ocean view, a veranda, or a concierge stateroom. In brief, inside staterooms don't have windows to the outside world. They do have magic secret portholes though, which are really fun. Ocean view staterooms have windows that do not open. Veranda staterooms, you guessed it, have a veranda. And concierge staterooms are upscaled options which also come with extra perks. I have a whole video and blog post helping you pick which stateroom might be best to go for on your cruise, so I'll link that video below for you to watch later. As well as your stateroom number, you need to know which deck you're on, and then your port arrival time goes here once you've done your online check-in. Next, we need to think about a night before the cruise accommodation. If you're sailing from Southampton here in the UK and you live in the UK, you'll know that UK traffic is somewhat unpredictable. We live in Wales and always opt to stay near the port the day before the cruise because that way we're not all in a flap, stuck in a traffic jam and worried about missing our port arrival time. When we sailed on the Wish from Port Canaveral, we were going from Walt Disney World, which was around an hour away, and we opted to go for Disney Cruise Line transportation for that. But honestly, I would say about an hour from the port is kind of your magic number. If you live or are staying more than an hour from the port, I'd highly recommend looking for night before the cruise accommodation within an hour's drive of the port. It's going to mean you're going to wake up on embarkation day feeling fresh and excited and not dealing with long journeys and the stress of traffic. There's space here to log various quotes before you pick which accommodation you're going to go for. Then space to record your booking information when you book your accommodation. I'd highly recommend booking your night before the cruise accommodation and any transportation you're going to need to get yourself to the port as soon as you've booked your actual cruise. If you're traveling to the port, maybe you'll book Disney Cruise Line transportation, or maybe you're driving to Port Canaveral, Southampton, or one of the other ports that Disney Cruise Line sails from worldwide. And again, you need to make sure you've booked that parking in plenty of time because parking spaces in certain ports are limited. We've never parked sailing from Port Canaveral, but when we sail from Southampton, we use A-B parking, which is right by the port. You book your car in for the duration of the cruise, and the parking is actually booked per cruise. So you find your specific sailing, get that booked in, and like I said, do that as soon as possible. The parking is really, really close to the port, and your car is kept securely for the duration of your sailing. I also love that they come round the car parks to pick up your luggage and check that in for you, and you will next see that on board at your stateroom. It's truly magical. We've thought about travel to the port and where we're going to stay the night before. We also, sadly, are going to have to consider how we're going to get home from the port. Have you got a long journey ahead of you? Are you going to get off the ship and stay a night somewhere before traveling on? Or are you just going to book transportation and get straight home? Are you picking up your car from a car park? All of the details for all of the very sad stuff we're going to have to do when we get off the ship, because everything's sad when you get off a Disney cruise goes on this page. Next, we're going to look at onboard activity bucket lists. I mentioned briefly about the bookable activities. I have got a number of videos which you can check out before your bookable activity window opens. I'd highly recommend making a bucket list of the sorts of things you might like to book, because when that bookable window opens, things get snapped up super quickly. If you want to do something like adult dining in Paolo, or grab a Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique appointment for your children, those reservations and appointments go fast. You're not going to want to be dithering. Although you won't know what's available until that bookable window opens, make sure before that date arrives, you've checked out lots of other vlogs. Take a look on YouTube for port adventures at the ports that you are sailing to see the sorts of things that other people did. And make a rough list of the kinds of things you're looking for when that window opens. Because let's face it, if it's 5 a.m, you're going to be half asleep. You don't want to be dithering and then missing out on the things that you wished you'd booked. Get them in your bucket list so that you're ready. The next bucket list is a cruise, show and event bucket list. Again, this is going to differ sailing to sailing, what's available for you when you get on board, and you won't know exactly what's available for you on board for your free or included activities until you actually embark the ship. However, when I'm sharing my vlogs, for example, I always share what's available on board, what you can find on the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app, and the sorts of events and activities that we got involved in. So check out all those vlogs, see which sort of things you fancy and get them on your bucket list. This is a really fun activity to do with families, especially with children, and especially if, like mine, your children have autism and they really like to be prepared. I know that some people say, oh, I don't want to spoil the magic, I don't want to have any spoilers, and that's fine, that's absolutely your prerogative. However, Disney Cruise Line is so magical and there's so much to do. It's such a shame when I get those messages from people when they get off the ship and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe you, I saw that you did this in your vlog and I didn't even know that was on board. So if you know all your options because you've seen vlogs, you've educated yourself on the kind of magic you're after, then you're not going to get off the ship with regrets having missed out on amazing things. The next one is the Port Adventures bucket list. This kind of goes hand in hand with the bookable activities, but not necessarily. So Port Adventures can be booked at the same time as your bookable activities, your onboard bookable activities. However, it is not compulsory to book a port adventure. I have got a whole video detailing port adventures where I dive deep into all of this, and I'd really highly recommend that you check it out. But in brief, Disney Cruise Line will either dock the ship near things that you can walk to and take a look around, and you can do that independently without paying extra, or they will put on a free shuttle bus to take you near to the action if they've docked somewhere that's a bit more industrial. There are pros and cons of paid for and free port adventures. Check out that full video to learn more. Another fun one to do, especially if you've got kids, is to put together your character meet bucket list. Now this is character, outfit and a location. You won't necessarily know the location characters are going to be until you get onto the ship, but that's something you can fill in on board. And the reason it says outfit is, like, my kids sometimes want to meet Minnie in her Captain Minnie outfit, or maybe they want to meet Minnie on Pirate Night. So this is just something worth considering, especially if one of the bookable extras you went for with the Magic Photo Pass, which I'd highly recommend doing. You can get it on board, but it is slightly cheaper if you book it before you board the ship. And this means that for one price, you get digital copies of all of the photographs taken on board at the character meets, photo spots, and at dinner too. Your cruise food bucket list is an oh so fun one to fill in. I've got so many videos on this channel, including everything we ate on the Disney cruise, plus videos explaining all about rotational dining, deck food, buffet options, room service, and more. So make sure you check out all of these videos before you sail. And then you can make your own Disney cruise food bucket list. Yum. On the next pages, we are recording our outfit ideas. Now on a Disney cruise, it is not compulsory to wear your Mickey ears or dress up by any stretch. And in fact, in Disney parks on the Disney Cruise Line, other than at select events such as Pirate Night, which we'll go into in a second, or special events in the parks, anyone aged 12 and over is not actually allowed to dress in a costume. Luckily, Disney bounding is the thing. Disney bounding is using color palettes and certain items of everyday clothing to symbolize different Disney characters, movies, even attractions or ships. If you want to learn more about Disney bounding and get some own ideas for your outfit planning, I have a whole playlist of videos full of ideas just for you. So you can jot down your outfit ideas here, and then over the page we have Pirate Night outfit ideas. Again, it is not compulsory to dress up for Pirate Night, but it's such a fun night and so many Disney cruisers get involved. I'd actually go so far as to say that on the UK sailing, more people went more full out for Pirate Night than when we sailed on the Wish out of Port Canaveral, which really surprised me. The Disney community from the UK really did themselves proud. So Pirate Night is an exception to the rule, the dressing up rule, as in you're not allowed to do it over age 12 and you can wear complete costumes. I actually tend to wear pretty much the same Pirate Night costume most years on a Disney cruise, so that's what I'll be putting in my Pirate Night ideas. The kids obviously grow, so they may need new Pirate Night costumes this year, but I've got a whole playlist full of Pirate Night videos so you can get some outfit inspiration if you're looking for it. Once we've come up with our ideas, I like to plan my outfits in a grid. So I put the family members up here, so I'd be like me, Bella, Zara, etc., and then the days down the side, and then in each box I ask the kids what do you want to wear each day. Now these days could switch around because obviously you don't know until you get on board which nights the shows are going to be, you don't know which night you're going to be dining which restaurant, because through rotational dining you get allocated different restaurants each night. But again, make sure you check out the rotational dining video, it's where I explain all of that. But at least you've got a rough idea of roughly what they want to wear each day. Do they want to Disney bound as certain characters on certain days? Perhaps they want to match to a show. I know on board the Fantasy, where we're sailing this summer, one of the nights is a Frozen show, and there are likely to be Frozen photograph opportunities. So for example, I may then wear my Olaf Disney bound outfit that I wore on the Wish, because we also saw Frozen on the Wish. I think Zara wants a Disney bound as Anna, for example. One of the shows is Aladdin, so maybe the kids want to do an Aladdin Disney bound. And then for the days where the kids are going to kids clubs, maybe we're hanging around the pool, just kind of chilling on deck, there'll be more casual Disney bound outfits we might want to put together. I did a recent haul and outfits idea video for the upcoming Fantasy cruise, so make sure you check that out later. But also, if you're subscribed with bell notifications on, then there will be a full everything we're wearing on the Fantasy video coming very soon. Also, if you're inside of my Magical Adventures Club, there are bonus printables to help you get organised for your Disney trips. Plus, you get early access to all the videos and vlogs that I put out. And even if you just join as the free tier, you get notified whenever I post a new video. So hang out with me a little bit more in there. It's a lovely community full of travel-loving people just like you. So there are a few pages for outfit planning before we get on to our packing checklist. Now, as an ADHD girly, I rely heavily on my packing checklists so I don't feel like I'm losing my mind when we travel, because I always have this sense that I've forgotten something. And if you're a mum, like I am, of children with autism, you know that forgetting certain things can really spoil people's days. I rely heavily on my packing checklist to make sure that we have everything we need to maximize the magic. The way I use these is I put people's names along the top. So I'd be like me, Bella, Zara, and I just tick off when I've packed everyone's tops, everyone's shorts. And this really helps to check and double check my brain. I'll also physically put ticks alongside all of the outfits everyone's chosen as a double, triple check. And then we have a page here for just sort of miscellaneous items like clothing, underwear, socks, shoes, and camera batteries, that kind of thing. A lot of camera batteries if you're like me and you vlog. So make sure you check out all of the essentials on here. I have also got a video about packing essentials for a Disney cruise, including things you are and are not allowed to take and things you really must pack. I'll make sure to link that for you to watch. We've then got a pre-cruise shopping list. So maybe there are certain things you want to pick up, certain toiletries and things. There are certain toiletries on board that are included, things like shampoo, conditioner, body wash, that kind of thing, and they smell amazing. And there are a number of toiletry options you could purchase in the shop, but ultimately you're probably going to want to have certain things you take with you. Pop them on your shopping list to make sure you've got them ready to pack. There's also a pre-cruise to-do list. Make sure you've sorted things like travel insurance before you travel, to cover you and your entire party for your cruise. Make sure your phone carrier is going to be working in the place that you are sailing to. You probably won't have signal when you're at sea, but will you be charged roaming fees, or will your phone not work at all when you get to your destination? Make sure you check before you sail. Then we have our pre-departure checklist when the time gets really close, where we're packing last minute items. We're going through our packing checklists again, making sure we've got phones, passports, all our documents. I'd highly recommend printing all of your documents and popping them in a folder. You will need all of your documents that you are issued at online check-in. So make sure you've watched my online check-in vlog before you do your own online check-in. But once you've done that, you've got your port arrival time, hopefully a nice early one, then print off all of the documents as well as have them on your phone, because you're going to need to scan those a number of times at the port as you embark the ship. Make sure you weigh your luggage if you are flying and you've got luggage allowance. You've got your travel documents, your keys to the house, and you do your final last minute checklist before it's time to sail. And then each day we have these planning pages. There'll be certain days where you'll know what's happening. You'll know from your Disney Cruise Line Navigator app before you sail, for example, what time you're going to be embarking, what time you're going to be debarking the ship at the end of the cruise, which ports you're going to be at certain days, and what your ashore time and your all aboard times are going to be on those days. And then the rest of these bits and pieces you can fill in when you get on board and your Disney Cruise Line Navigator app lights up with all of your options. Then the end of each day, you can fill in your magical memories. Of course, if you've got the kids version of the planner, I've taken out all the boring booking stuff that really is no fun at all. It needs doing, but it's no fun. And the kids planner is instead filled with fun activities for kids to do in the run up to the cruise, while they're waiting at the port, and maybe while they're waiting in line for characters. And they've even got space to draw their favourite characters so that the characters' autographs can be collected in their planners. And they also have these magical memory pages. We have quite a number of days, so hopefully you're having a nice long sailing, plus note pages at the back too. We talked a little bit about packing, and obviously it's so important to make sure you have the right things for your cruise packed so that you can maximize the magic. You're not stressing out because you haven't got certain things, and you've got all the clothes you need for the right climate to keep you comfortable, so you can relax and enjoy all of the Disney magic. So click on the video on screen now to learn exactly what you need to pack. Hang out with me more inside my Magical Adventures Club for bonus printables, early release videos, and a fun-loving Disney community too. I'll see you guys really soon. Bye.